10 years after the events of The Phantom Menace, while Obi-Wan investigates an attempted assassination on the Senator and found a secret clone army, Anakin shares his romance with Padme. So after the previous movie received mixed reviews, George Lucas was reluctant to return to the writing desk, but then he completed his rough script for Episode 2 in March 2000. Just 3 months before the start of the principal photography, he continued with the script, producing a proper first and second draft for help with the third draft, which would later become the shooting script. A writer of several episodes of the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, Jonathan Hales, got brought in to do that for him, but he had limited experience writing theatrical films. The final script was completed just 1 week before the start of the principal photography during the writing of The Empire Strikes Back. Lucas originally decided that Lando Calrissian was a clone and came from a planet of clones, which started the Clone Wars mentioned by Obi-Wan in A New Hope. He later came up with an alternate concept of an army of clone troopers from a remote planet, which were used by Republic as an army in the war that followed. Apparently the working title was Jar Jar's Great Adventure, a sarcastic reference to the negative responses from the fans to the character, which was actually a joke. Nice. Naboo Palace scene was shot in Plaza de España in Seville in Spain. They also shot this movie in London, China, Vancouver, San Diego and Italy, Villa del Balbieleno on Lake Como, and in place where Royal Palace of Caserta used to be. Those cast from the previous movie reprised the role. Anakin Skywalker in this movie is played by Hayden Christensen, who became a Padawan apprentice, and I think his acting is spot on where he shows off his rage and emotion. The fact that Anakin mentions he doesn't sleep well anymore, which explains why he sounds half asleep.
You look tired. I don't sleep well anymore. Because of your mother?
And I think he does have a great moment with Padme.
You're making fun of me.
No, I'd be much too frightened to tease a senator.
We call this a diplomatic solution?
No, I call it aggressive negotiations.
I honestly don't think Hayden is a bad actor, and to those who think he is a bad actor, well, his acting got praised in Shattered Glass and Life as a House. Before he was casted, Lucas auditioned few actors, and the ones who were considered for the role are Jonathan Brandis, Devon Sawa, Topher Grace, Joshua Jackson, Ryan Phillippe, Colin Hanks, Paul Walker, Leonardo DiCaprio and Heath Ledger. So Natalie Portman said in the Time magazine that Christensen gave a great reading. He could stimulously be scary and really young. Christopher Lee plays Count Dooku, aka Darth Tyrannus, who was a Jedi Master and a mentor to Qui-Gon Jinn and now became a Sith. And I think he's phenomenal. Lee was an accomplished sword fighter, but Kyle Rowland, the stunt actor, had to do the work due to Lee's age. Rowling's face is replaced with Lee's face. Lee reprised the role in the Star Wars The Clone Wars animated movie. Also, his niece plays Dr. Harta Colonia in The Force Awakens, which is cool. Jimmy Smits plays Bail Organa, a senator from Alderaan, who eventually adopted Princess Leia, and I think he's great too. Temuera Morrison plays Jango Fett, a bounty hunter who gives out his DNA for the use of the cloning facilities on Kamino to create a clone army. I really love that character and I think he's badass. He's referenced to Django, which is cool. In the early scripts, Jango Fett was called Jamie. The outfit is based on Boba Fett from the original trilogy that was designed by Joe Johnston, as they wore sleek armoured suits that conceal scarred face. Originally, Jango's suit was to be white to match the concept art for Boba Fett, but got changed to silver and blue in contrast to Boba's green, red and orange. Jango also uniquely has Thaishin and Spat armour, as well as comprehensive lack of accessories and trophies. George Lucas decided that Jango would wear Mandalorian armour, but would not be from their planet. Temuera couldn't see anything while wearing the helmet because of the fog from his breath, making it difficult to perform. Daniel Logan plays young Boba Fett, Jango's clone, an adopted son, and I think his acting is spot on, playing a kid who's pretty menacing. Apparently he hasn't seen any Star Wars films before he got the part, so he watched them by George Lucas' request. He had to rely his imagination for the blue screen. Him and Jeremy Bulloch, the original Boba Fett physical actor, had an interest in reprising the role in Underworld TV series that sadly didn't happen. George Egerton and Bonnie Pisces plays young Owen and Beru Lars, a couple that lives in Tatooine. Owen became Anakin's stepbrother, and they both became Luke's uncle and aunt who brought them up. And I think they did a great job playing the younger versions of Phil Brown and Sheila Fraser. Jack Thompson plays Clee Glass, who's married to Shmi Skywalker and became Anakin's stepfather. And I think he's great too. Leanna Walsman plays Zam Wesell, Django's partner, who's also a shapeshifting. Claude Diet's bounty hunter who got sent to kill Padme, and I thought she's pretty badass. The actress was discovered by Robin Gurland, the casting director, while she was performing with Rose Byrne, who played Stormy. In the play Lad Dispute for the Sydney Theatre Company, Jay Lager Aya plays Gregor Typho, who's a Padme's new captain. I thought he was pretty good. He was originally to be killed off by Droideka, but the idea got ditched. The actor quite liked the character because he thought the character is this guardian that has Padme's ear and her counsel, and he can say things and decree things that not too many people can get away with. As far as her security is involved, once you get the costume on, it's a regal feeling because the costume is so restrictive, you're forced to pull yourself up and forced to hold yourself with the shoulders back. Rose Byrne plays Domi, Padme's handmaiden, and Alethea McGrath plays Jocasta Nu, the Jedi Temple librarian. They're great as well. Anthony Phelan and Rena Owen plays Lama Sue and Tom Wee. They're both Kaminoans. Lama is a Prime Minister of Kamino. They do look pretty cool and futuristic, and the voice actors are great as those characters. Ronald Falk plays Dexter Jetster, a basilisk who owns a diner on Coruscant called Dexter's Diner, and a good friend to Obi-Wan. I really like that character, he's really friendly.
Hey, buddy!
Apparently Ahmed Best and Anthony Daniels did a cameo as Ahmed Beg and Daniel Faitoni, which is cool. Also, NSYNC was asked by George Lucas to film a small background cameo to satisfy his daughters. They were subsequently cut out of the film. However, they are briefly seen during the crowd shot from the above. George Lucas's son, Jet Lucas, plays Zet Jukasa, a Jedi Padawan, in a deleted scene in Episode 2, but he reappears in Episode 3. There's great things in this movie, such as chasing Zam Wesell. Jango Fett's battle. And funny moments.
You want to buy some death sticks?
You don't want to sell me death sticks.
I don't want to sell you death sticks.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
So iconic. You gotta love the explosion effects by Skywalker's sound. The fact that Watto says little Annie.
Annie? Little Annie?
And that he was an orphanage sounds familiar.
It's the hard knock life for us.
While he falls in love with Padme.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating.
Obi-Wan gets captured.
I do hope nothing's happened to him.
Even him and Padme gets captured as well.
I retransmitted it just as you had requested, Master. Then we decided to come and rescue you. Good job.
There's awesome battle scenes. Where a lot of Jedi fights with battle droids, man-eating creatures, also Jango Fett. And the bit where Dooku has a meeting, we get a cool tuning sound.
The Techno-Union Army is at your disposal, Count.
That is quite a tune. To those who say that Jar Jar doesn't do anything for the plot, well, he gave Palpatine the power.
Immediately, emergency powers to the Supreme Chancellor.
We also get an emotional scene where Anakin lost his mum. as he kills Tusken Raiders, it gives me goosebumps. There's great lightsaber duel. Anakin gets amputated, same as Luke. Like father, like son. Yoda was pretty badass.
Even you.
There's great setup for the Clone Wars.
Begun. The Clone War has.
John Williams' score, as always, phenomenal, especially the Clone Trooper Awakens. There's some great sound designs, and thanks to this movie, it gave us some great stuff like Star Wars Bounty Hunter game and Star Wars Clone Wars cartoons. I'm grateful that this movie exists. Next movie coming up is Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.